Hello and welcome to the fifth edition of Tin Media's virtual talk show series. A very good evening to all of you. I'm very excited to see you all online and thank you so much for joining us here today. I can see a lot of familiar faces. Really appreciate you taking out your time and joining us. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. We have still people joining us. Hi, Sabrina. Hi, Steve. Hi, Hari. Hi, guys. Thank you for joining in. People are joining in. All right. So we have more people coming in, and a very warm welcome to all of you. So today we will talk about reset, restart, and recover tourism, the ultimate survival hacks that could save your business. Those who are new to Tin Media, we are Malaysia's homegrown travel trade digital media. We focus on hospitality and tourism. We believe that it's very important to bring the industry under a common digital platform to share knowledge, ideas, and give the digital exposure so that it's easy for the businesses to adopt and be innovative to be relevant at this today's time. My name is Prashant Chandra. If you can call me PC, and I'll be your host. I'm very excited to be hosting this session today. So Tin Media has come up with a series of virtual live talk shows in previous weeks with the intention to educate, help the tourism industry players about the importance of digitalization in your business, whether it is for products, destinations, or service providers. By having industry leaders and various sectors to share their experience and advices in front of a live audience like you. We would like to especially thank you for encouraging us to discuss on such relevant topics, which is helpful to the growth of our industry. Some of the questions you want us to ask is also included in today's session. So those who are watching the show regularly knows that we do it a bit differently, as it's not just me and the guest who talks or share. We also need the viewers, you to share your thoughts, views, and suggestions at the comment section below so that we all can learn and share knowledge from each other. Please feel free to tell us your opinion about today's subject. Do write your comments on this comment session. So it looks like we are coming towards the end of a dark tunnel, and some lights is started seeing already. So as some of countries are already started operating domestic routes, and the world market is opening up slowly, but with conditions. Looks like travel industry is getting back to its normalcy slowly as well. So according to me, this crisis have actually brought a lot of unity in the tourism industry, as almost everyone trying their best to bring their thoughts and opinions towards redesigning the future of tourism. This is being practiced almost in every country, and I do believe that this was very much needed for a very long time. And I personally see the industry is communicating very well than the usual during this lockdown. If you see, most of us was more busier than the normal days with the webinars and online meetings. It only proves that the market will bounce back quickest than any predictions. So for more on this, I'm sure our esteemed guests have more to share and better insights to share. Before that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining in. I have a special request to all of you to share this live feed on your Facebook wall, your Twitter, your LinkedIn, on your WhatsApp group, Facebook group, so that let your friends to watch this as well. So keep your questions coming in. If you don't get answers during this session, we will surely follow it up afterwards. So without any further delay, let me introduce you to the most amazing experts. Let me give you a brief on them. So basically, the first guest we have is Dr. Hezri Adnan, the CEO of Langkawi Development Authority. And this man doesn't need an introduction. If Langkawi Island is so popular around the world, he has a large role to play. And he has a PhD in public policy with multidisciplinary academic training. And he's an honorary associate professor. Also, he's been awarded research fellowships by various institutions abroad. So indeed, we are so lucky to have him with us today. The second guest we have is Miss Catherine Chua. She's such a dynamic woman entrepreneur. She's a vice chair of the Association of Tourism Attractions Penang, and also the co-owner of Tropical Spice Garden Penang. So she has been in the industry for almost 15 years. All right. So for those who are just logged in, very warm welcome. Please share this live feed on your Facebook wall and your WhatsApp group so that more people can join. So, let's get the discussion going now. All right. So let me ask Dr. Hezri, how much is the world has changed for you, and any special update from Langkawi that you like to give to the viewers about the current situation there?
Thank you, PC, and thank you, Team Media, for inviting the Langkawi Development Authority to be part of this program tonight. And good evening, everyone, and my fellow panelist, Catherine, as well. Well, a lot has changed in just almost overnight. Yeah, I mean, for us, 2019 was particularly a very good year. We broke a new record with tourist arrival of 3.92 million. Visitors arrival to Langkawi. There was an increase of about 8% from the year before. And this is sort of overflowed into January as well. When we look at the even the luxury brand hotels were running at 90% occupancy rate. So it was really looking very good, yeah. And suddenly, without us realizing and anticipating, we got COVID-19 on our door. And of course, by definition, tourism is about the movement of people from one place to another. If you have a movement restriction or movement control order, as we call it in Malaysia, then of course, for an island like Langkawi, everything stopped. So it's a big change, of course, in that sense.
All right, Dr. Hezri. Yes, we all are going through the movement control order. So let me go to Catherine. Catherine, how much the world has changed for you, and what is the update from your association and about the current situation?
Yeah. So hi PC, hi everybody. So the update from Penang Island as well, another island to another island, Langkawi. It's very similar. I mean, the worlds really have changed. It's really turned everything upside down for us. And as an association that co-joins attractions, the general feeling I feel amongst our members, we are the first to get hit and we're going to be the last to recover. So as things are opening and we see this kind of normalcy somewhat return, we are starkly reminded that it's not quite so for attractions and perhaps even for the entire tourism industry, because it's a lot longer recovery. So that's painful, and it's challenging, and it's something that we really need to brace and get creative.
Yeah, if I could add, PC, there, it is doubly painful for Langkawi because our economy is dependent on tourism. I think very much dependent on tourism. I think on our last count it was about 73.2% dependency on tourism receipt. So so this is not really good for 110,000 population of Langkawi.
Oh, that's very painful. Yeah. So I just like to ask Dr. Hezri, today we talk about reset, restart, and recover tourism. So as a thought leader, everyone looks up to you. You've been in the industry for so long, and what is your thoughts? I mean, do you see the industry getting better, and things are getting better?
I guess just like everywhere else, the discussion among the the industrial players in Langkawi range from a carefree attitude that all will be well after the lockdown to a cautious optimism that we'll see how it goes, how bad it's going to be, depending on government regulation. When can we open the borders? Depending on when can we get the vaccine out in the market, and depending on airlines' reaction to the whole thing, So we get views from, like I said, very very carefree, very optimistic, down to people fearing that the period of mass tourism is very much over. So if that is the case, then how do we react, and how do we recuperate? How do we rev up the economy again? And we have among our industry players about 200 travel agents, and then around 200 tourist guides, and then we have beach boys who are dependent entirely on tourism. So the situation for them, it also depends on how it will pan out eventually, whether we'll see let's say scenario number one is from 3.92 million, by the end of 2020, we get around 3 million. That is that's the best case scenario, almost, unattainable from our, at least from LADA's point of view. The moderate case is if it goes down to 2 million, from about 3.92 million. And of course, our fear is if it goes down to about 1 million arrival. So this will mean that a lot more needs to be done, a lot more people will be unemployed, and government support needs to be extended till the end of the year or perhaps longer. So from our point of view, it is much, a black restart, if you like, if you're from the, done some work in the power sector before. Is this going to be a black restart, when you have a partial total shutdown in the energy generation? So to rev it back again, it will be a big challenge, but together with the industrial players, we have a number of associations here. In fact, even today, we had a meeting, of course, observing the social distancing and all that. And we have some plans, ahead on how to deal with this. Of course, it's not going to be easy.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Hezri. I think, yes, we all need a restart. And I think every player in the industry is looking forward and working hard towards that. Catherine, how about, what is your opinion about reset, restart, and recover tourism? What is your outlook about it?
Yeah, when I saw that, it's an exciting topic for me, because I think, and it's been, from a very personal point of view, it resonates a lot with me, because that's really what I feel I've gone through, just in my personal space and my workspace and everything. So under this, for the Spice Gardens, we've launched a recovery campaign, and we've called it Hati dan Bumi, and translated from the literal heart and soil. And that's really come out from this 2 months of brewing and really understanding that we're going through a global reset. And I know this may sound quite odd, but I almost feel like this has been long overdue. And it almost feels like the whole world has been on this tipping point of excess. And I kind of break out into being a little bit more philosophical here, rather than just strictly tourism. But, this idea that the world's been, on this tipping of excess, and it just needed to reset, and I feel that our restart and recovery cannot go back to what it was before. If anything, at least for me, the biggest takeaway for me is that the reset must be, and recovery must look different. It's got to look more sustainable. We've got to be kinder to one another. We've got to work together more. We've got to, band together more. There's so many lessons to take from this, not in our personal spaces, in our workspaces. And I think just coming from it from a woman's entrepreneurial point of view, I think with everyone at home, we're still trying to drive businesses, and we're trying to manage the family at the same time. And I think for me, it just kind of sheds new light on policies and on laws for women, working women, and how that's all going to fit moving forward. Flexi hours for women, and so many things that you begin to start to think about. I feel like as owners, as managers, we've become a lot more understanding and empathetic to our staff. We realize they've got other things to manage in the home space and the family space, and yet they've got to keep this business going. How is that going to look like post lockdown? How are we going to work with all these demands that are pressing in on us? And I just think it's been a really interesting time, but it's exciting as well if we can get this restart right, and if we can look to the future with different plans, and it's exciting, and we need to look at it that way.
Rightly said, Captain. It's indeed exciting, and yes, I believe, we had a conversation about sustainability earlier. I think from that perspective, yes, it is even a good opportunity for all of us. Let me ask Dr. Hezri about a bit about LADA's presence in digital and landscape, and as a destination, how digital is LADA or Langkawi as a destination?
Well, if I could revert back to your earlier question about reset, restart, and recover, there are a number of elements or dimensions of tourism in Langkawi which LADA have been trying to sort of improve over the years, but there was no opportunity to do so because of the growth of mass tourism. That includes sustainability, that includes responsible tourism, and also the level of service that we could offer to people coming to Langkawi. So in that sense, perhaps there's a silver lining to all this, that now there is an opportunity to address all those. One of the items that needed to really be improved in the forthcoming months and year is actually our digital presence. Of course, in the previous Langkawi Tourism Blueprint, it was launched in 2012, 2011 to 2015. Digital marketing was highlighted as one of the key areas to be tackled, and rightfully so. With some funding from the federal government at that time, we invested in digital marketing. So we have, if I'm sure you have heard of Naturally Langkawi, web, and also its sub presence on the net. We have got around 528,000 followers or subscribers on YouTube, 11,000 on Twitter, 20,000 on Facebook, and at that time it was really slow on Instagram. It was only about 5,000. But later on, we got another LADA's own corporate digital presence with more about 16,000 subscribers on Instagram. So it's pretty much that, and we don't have a online travel OTA. It's pretty much not in our repertoire. So we probably wanted to do that, but there's not much space for us to move into that direction in yesteryear. So even today, we had a meeting with the industrial leaders. We have something called the Assembly of Langkawi Frontliners, the tourism frontliners. But now we have to call it something else because frontliners in Malaysia refer to the health workers and the police officers and also soldiers enforcing the movement control order. So one of the, I think we spent about an hour just on this topic of coming up with a common platform, digital platform that can enable us to communicate, digitally in a more effective way.
All right, Doctor. Yeah, I mean, actually, Langkawi is a very, very popular, and in the international market especially, is a very popular campaign. All right, so I would like to, let me. We have a lot of people joining in and sending a lot of messages. Hi, Suhaimi. Hi, Mayang. Hi, guys. Thank you so much for joining. Hi, Pankaj. Hi, Didi. Hi. Thanks for joining. Yeah. All right. So let me ask Catherine, as you manage the tropical spice garden, which is one of the most prominent gardens in Malaysia, as maybe only one of the spice gardens we have. So how do you see the future of nature tourism or the similar sectors post-COVID era? Like, what's your outlook on that?
Yeah. Well, personally, I feel I'm really glad to be in this space, just because it's I mean, if anything, I mean, the way I see it is that when this lockdown lifts, they're going to need some fresh air, and I think again this whole reset brings about this appreciation of like our resources and this wonderful, amazing environment we live in, and people are going to want to step into this a lot more. I'm hoping anyway. Get out, breathe some fresh air. So I'll be happy to offer this space to people. And our whole campaign is really about that. It's really about wanting to offer this space to as many people as we can. To really, our arms are open wide, and we do that by our prices are coming right down. It's going to be this real concept. It's a garden for all. It's a space for all. We're just caretakers of this amazing piece of land, which belongs to the people of Penang. In this kind of wider. That's how we're seeing it. So I suppose the thing which I'm grappling with is that we've always run the gardens. It's a very tactile place. It's, it's full of, it engages your 5 senses. And so, just doing these virtual tours around gardens, it just doesn't cut it for me. So I'm like, oh, I'm still getting my head around this. For me, it whets the appetite, to take people around. And we've been doing like little videos, trying to get up and personal and using all our social media channels, etc. But, it just doesn't, you can't get in there, and sweaty and dirty in the gardens. And I'm missing that. And I'm missing that, and how do you bring a garden experience virtually to the world? It's just can't be done. We got to get this lift up soon. Yeah.
Rightly said, Catherine. I think today's even every attractions or destinations are trying these virtual tours. I think this is something which makes people miss more that place. By seeing it virtually, people definitely would look forward to even visit. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping you'll, kind of pent up their desire to come visit us, and they're like, so when it lifts, they can finally race out and come and see us. Yeah.
Right. Rightly said. Yeah.
They will come in droves.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
But if you could also share, sorry, PC, I interrupted you there.
Yeah,
LADA also owns a number of subsidiaries, which include the Skycap cable car, which attracts. Last year, we managed to attract 1,200, almost 1,300 riders. Sorry, 1.27 million riders, and that's the most popular attraction. Number 2 was Underwater World in Langkawi. That was only about 400,000. So it's a big difference between number 1 and number 2. And now we are scratching our head, really. How do you operate an attraction like that? A theme park with social distancing. And you look at what's happening in for instance, in Disneyland in China. They are operating at 50%, capacity. Does it make a business sense to do so? For businesses that go on volume. Yeah? So we are, we're having a series of meetings to see how we can at least, if not recuperate the fixed cost of about 1.26 million every month. And that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Rightly said. I think. All right. So let me move on to the next question here. We talk about the digital opportunities, Langkawi as a destination. So, let's talk a little about the challenges Langkawi has as a destination in online space. I would like to ask Dr. Z on this. Yeah.
That's a good question. I think I've sort of mentioned that in passing, that I think our complacence, we've been a bit complacent when it comes to moving on to the digital platform. But last year we started a series of trainings, which started with MDEC, the Malaysian Digital Economy Corporation, to encourage particularly the businesses in Pantai Chenang to go digital. And when we started talking to people there, we found out that most of the shops that don't even accept credit cards, what more, e-payments and all this. So awareness raising on the importance of going digital is the first step, I think. And we started doing that. And luckily, with the lockdown, suddenly, just like in China and elsewhere, the idea of digital economy or digital businesses become more acceptable, perhaps not by design but by force. So we've had some one example is a travel and tour operator who was actually shifted from being doing travel and tour to importing durian from Penang and Perak, for instance. And the same company also initiated something called the LangkawiRuncit.com, which is a retail platform, and they've got the big hypermarkets to be part of them. And this is doing very well. And this is, it just popped up without government intervention. So I think it's slowly people are becoming more accustomed to the idea of using digital platform. So the resistance that we were trying to break in the beginning, I think, has been broken by the lockdown itself. So I think people are more, the idea is more palatable now compared to before.
All right. All right. Right. Okay. So, Catherine, what about you? Like, what kind of digital opportunities you've seen in attractions post COVID?
Sorry, what was that again? The
What is the digital opportunities you have seen?
digital? Did you say digital? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, similarly to Dr. Hezri, I mean, the feeling is a little bit that we've been a little slack, I think, as a destination. I mean, I know there are, our Penang agencies have done what they can, but I think more can be done in the whole digital marketing space. We've fallen a little bit behind, I feel, and I think we need to really step that up in order to remain competitive out there. So far, I feel a lot of it it's been done quite individually. I mean, I'm talking from attractions point of view. We've all linked onto the OTAs. It's all becoming part of our language now and part of our, our marketing strategies. That's all part and parcel. It's all picking up. I think the hotels have kind of got this down a lot quicker. I mean, they had the whole Agoda and all those platforms down a lot sooner than attractions. I feel it's only now we're the last wave, the attractions to have platforms set up in terms of our ticketing, linked up with platforms and all that. A lot of attractions still are not there yet. It's still very manually driven, bookkeeping. So it's a big jump for a lot of attractions. So we have this range of attractions, really the mom and pops, very niche tourism, to the much bigger companies who are way ahead in that space and who've got digital teams and all that. So it's a big range in our association. And so, for these smaller players, we really rely on the association strength. We really rely on government bureaus to assist in that area, because we just can't afford it. We just don't have the teams for it. We don't have the know-how for it. And so that's where we really, joining associations like ATAP and just staying connected with your local agencies are really, really important in this time. One thing that ATAP did do was to moot the Penang Pass. So that was something we kickstarted last year. And I feel we only just kind of scratched the surface. And but this idea that visitors can come, they pay for a 1-day pass and they can see unlimited attractions, and then there's a 2-day pass, a 3-day pass, and that could be expanded to include transportation. So it kind of so it can be developed into so much more. And but we really just scratched the surface, and then this happens. So yeah, there's a lot more work and to get up to scratch in the digital space for Penang as a destination.
Wow. Thank you. Catherine rightly said, those who are joining just the live feed, warm welcome, and please send in your questions, guys. And if you are not getting a reply during this live chat, we are definitely going to follow it up afterwards. So please write in your questions. All right. So today, this episode, we are talking about the survival hacks. If you were to give your key survival hacks to the industry players, what that it will be. I would like to ask this to Dr. Hezri.
I wish I have the silver bullet for that. I'm afraid I don't. But let me retract again and mention about the opportunities from digital economy that we can tap. Actually, I'm sure it hit the news a few months ago. You might have noticed that Langkawi was declared as the first 5G island in Malaysia, and this was an initiative of the previous Prime Minister. And we have now, for 6 months, 35 use cases of 5G applications, which includes application for smart tourism, live streaming, and safety footstep analysis. So for now, they are offered by these telco companies for free. But once the 6 months period is over, I think we have to decide on what are those use cases that we can use for a longer period. Of course, there's some we have to think of the business model. But I think having experienced the usefulness of 5G, for instance, perhaps this perhaps related to agricultural tourism, is the application of farming in a container. So you have a container with little sensors in it, and one container is equivalent to 1 acre. And we're very excited about the prospect of using something like this in a small space, and to get the communities to be involved in that process. Of course, the upfront money will have to be forked out by the government and industry. But having said that, the opportunities are vast here. So it's not just for OTA, but for other applications as well. Survival hacks, of course, I think the keyword here is creativity, and I think I mentioned in passing about some diversification strategies by some of the key players in Langkawi. So I think even LADA, we have 2-star hotels. We have 2 hotels, and we are beginning now to offer, from our housekeeping department, house cleaning services to the people of Langkawi. So we have to go down to that level, and we have to force our staff, persuade them to move into this direction, so that we don't have to lay off any people, any workers. So I think it's tough time survival strategy is very important. When it comes to the hacks, maybe I'll leave it to the creativity of Catherine rather to answer.
Rightly said, Doctor. There is a very interesting comment we have. Is from Trop CDA, and what he says is, Miss Catherine, since you got Dr. Hezri there, why don't you suggest a 2-island package? Penang handles the historical cultural tourism. Langkawi comes up with the sun, sea, and the cultural package, which is sounds to be a very, pretty good suggestion. Yeah, by the way.
It is actually, yes. I know
island to island. I'm game. I'll talk to you afterwards, Dr. Hezri.
Yes, sounds like a good idea. In fact, Langkawi is a UNESCO Global Geopark. We have been given that status since 2007, and Penang is a UNESCO heritage. So I think it's only natural for us to use that brand and to encourage crisscrossing of 2 islands. Yes.
Yes, and Penang Hill also gunning for the geopark status as well.
Exactly,
So yeah, definitely. We opened a shop in Langkawi, so Langkawi is very close to my heart.
Yes.
All right, Catherine. So we go to another user question. Is from Wesley Thay. He's saying that hope you're well, Catherine. Hope you're well. Penang needs to be rebuilt by introducing the beauty of Penang on the other side of the island. Nowadays Penang has become food heaven, such as hawkers, but no longer the focus on Tanjung Bunga onwards. What can be done to revive that glory? So what do you think, Catherine? I think it's a very relevant question.
Yeah, no, it's really that's awesome that you saw that actually, and just with my geographical location on the island, I'm on the north west, and my heart is really near. I mean, it's really the Balik Pulau region. It's really that whole western part of the island, the rural part. Looking at the cultural assets, there's been a lot of focus on Penang tourism, on its UNESCO status, and rightfully so. But there's also the green heritage that lies very close to me, and all the little cottage industries that grow out of it. I mean, for me, that's real tourism. This is what people really want to see. They want to see a way of life. They want to see cultural stories. They want to see the stories of the land, of the people emerge, and that's where it's all happening. It's happening in the fishing village. It's happening in the mangroves. It's happening, in the small roadside foods, in the native trees. There's so much that's happening and I fully agree. And actually, a few of us came together 1-2 years ago, and we started brainstorming this idea of a emerald belt. That was a tentative name that we'd come up with, the emerald belt that would stretch down, and it would look at all the eco attractions that were kind of headed up, but we would include all the small players, all the cottage industries that really give depth to the story, the nutmeg farms, the spice farms, the fruit farms. There's so much going on. And we were happy to see that in the tourism master plan. So the Penang had drawn up a master blueprint that would take us for the next 10 years. And that was a similar concept was headed up in that. We saw that, so that was exciting for us. So certainly it's on our radar. We've been thinking about it. I've been speaking to the likes of Entopia and Tropical Fruit Farm, and these players are keen to establish some presence, and to really kind of bolster that identity.
Rightly said, Catherine. I think during this lockdown period, I think it's an opportunity for everyone to develop new, destinations, products, and I hope everyone is working towards that, and we definitely going to see something very creative towards the end of this. I would like to ask Doctor a question. According to you, what are the key factors which proves that tourism which bounce back strongly, especially in a destination like Langkawi? Like, how do you?
Well, if you look at the survey done by the Tourism Malaysia, there's a very high score when it comes to questions like, what would you do after the lockdown period? Where would you go to? And the number one preference was beach, beaches. They would like to go to, places like Langkawi, to unwind. And I think one good thing about Langkawi, because we have nature is out there, it's vast. We are larger than Penang, but number of people just 110,000 people here. So we talk about social distancing. It's so easy to do here. I mean, there's not much of crowded places. You can easily avoid them. And for this more discerning market that will, that we will perhaps be dealing with in the future, social distancing is very important. So Langkawi has that to offer. I was looking at the one analysis about what the new China market would be like, and this is predominantly would be mostly middle class young singles below age of 34. They would prefer self guided self-drive sort of package or travel mode, and they would prefer internet scenic spot or Instagrammable spot. We have a lot of those in Langkawi. Maybe we have to erect more of those I love Langkawi, structures and that sort of thing. But this is a new market that I think we can tap. In fact, if you look at Thailand, they are already targeting this group. Yeah. So perhaps after the lockdown, we won't be seeing those big groups coming from China, at least not in the next 6 months or so. So Langkawi has that to offer, I would say, yeah. And at the same time, Penang, of course, Penang is known for its heritage and cultural heritage, particularly history, deep history. And we are trying to build that content as well for Langkawi. Not many people know that apart from the global geopark, which goes back 550 million years in history, there's been a lot of travel records. Even before the Cheng Ho admiral in 14th century, 13th century, there was another Chinese explorer from the Yuan dynasty who came here and made some comments about Langkawi. And in Sanskrit, Langkawi means Langkawi, beautiful island, beautiful place, many beautiful place, something like that. So the place is of natural beauty, and I think we're going to market it more aggressively in that sense. That this is natural Langkawi, and it is also safe and clean. And we are going to do some activities, and perhaps the proper word is trying to initiate a social activism of some sort to clean up Langkawi. Langkawi is not known as a clean place, in the past few years. So we want to correct that image, and I think with that we will attract people to come to Langkawi again.
All right, thank you so much, Doctor. All right, let's move on to the users' question. I think, yes, a huge shout out to the Habitat Penang Hill and Alan. He says that Penang and Kedah should lead the way in green zone tourism.
Go, Alan!
What do you take on this, Catherine? Yeah.
Sorry, what's that?
What's your take on this? I mean,
go for it. Absolutely. Absolutely. No two ways about it. We should definitely talk. I mean, and now is the perfect time. I mean, I think, the silver lining to all this is that real conversations have started in a way that didn't before. I feel that people are really coming together like we haven't done before. People are really coming together. You know, it's like agencies. I feel like state agencies are really hearing us. Like they haven't done before. And so this is really the time to do all that talking and yeah, so let's take it to the drawing board.
All right, Catherine, if I may ask you, the survival hacks we are talking about. So if you were to give your key survival hacks for the industry players, what they will be like?
Yeah, so my answer would be ask me in 6 months, Prashant, and see whether I've survived this. Yeah, you know, we're on the scale of things, we're a small niche business, right? So survival is key. And I think I can safely say that I speak for the association members. Survival is key, and that's really what it's all about right now. But if I were to give my 2 cents, for us, the way we've dealt with it is to keep small and agile. So for me, you know, big isn't like I won't be able to cut it big. And so it's really keeping small. And I think it's small, you can maneuver a lot quicker. We can make decisions a lot faster. We can, you know, we've made some very drastic decisions I would never have thought about 5 years ago, you know, just not. We're relooking everything from pricing to opening hours to staffing to, you know, to who our market are. Everything has changed, and I think with a small team, you can do that. So if you can remain small and agile, I would say go with that. Diversify is a big one for me as well. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, as they say. You know, you've got to diversify your income streams where you can. I think just to highlight an example of what we've done, and so what we've always done, for example, with our gift shop. Our gift shop is, I don't like to call our gift shop items merchandise, but I think it's really been retail. So it's been developing a brand that can stand alone in the market, stand alone, independent from the physical space of the gardens. So that's what I mean by, you know, thinking about how to diversify income streams so you're not dependent on this one physical space. Again, I'm talking as an attractions point of view. So seeing what else you can do. And so I think now is the time to look at all those different income streams and you know, you'll be surprised on what available it is. The other thing I'd say is, I think just to encourage some of our listeners is I think the answers are in your hands. You know your business better than anybody else. The business owners, the managers, the staff, everyone, you're in there day in, day out. You have answers in your hands, and you just need to, I think a lot of it is courage, just stepping out, doing something new. And what more, you know, this is the best time to do that, because you've got to give it your best shot and just go for it. And you take what you can from many different places and people, but ultimately you know your business the best. And then you look at the situation around you and it's trying to marry those two together. So what you have and with the circumstances around you, and you navigate your way through that. And I'd say also, for me, it's been prayer. Ask him. He has all the answers. So just staying connected to the one who has all the answers. Yeah.
Rightly said, Catherine. Thank you so much for the inputs. All right, just, I would like to ask Dr. Hezri on Langkawi. Langkawi, as everyone is aiming on domestic tourism, and how safe is Langkawi for visitors, and why they should choose Langkawi first? I mean, if you could,
Yeah. Well, first of all, if you look at the extent of contagion of COVID-19 contagion, of course we had during the first wave we had one case from China. The family came through the domestic gate. They came in from KL, flew in from KL, and there was a bit of I got phone calls from friends in KL and elsewhere saying, "Is it safe to come to Langkawi?" So, and after that we started, the second wave popped up in Malaysia, the second wave of contagion. And since then, we've got 4 new cases, and 3 of them were actually very minor. Only the last case, the 4th or the 5th case, rather, if you take from collectively from wave 1 to the second wave, was the one that's a bit more serious than the rest. So since then, we've been a green zone. There's no more contagion, and we've got now the health ministry have got 4 thermal cameras at the the international gates and all that. There are 2 more thermal cameras coming in. So when it comes to detection, I think we'll be in a good position to sort of advertise that we do our screening where it matters. And secondly, we also we also thinking of coming up with a collective statement from the government fraternity saying that we are a safe destination. Of course, LADA can make that statement, but perhaps without Ministry of Health would be more reserved about issuing something like that because the authority comes from Putrajaya and not from Langkawi or Kedah, for instance. But we are preparing the first draft of that sort of announcement. So once that is sort of communicated across, I hope the market. In fact, if I could be honest with you, there's been a lot of queries from Central Asia, from Europe about when will Langkawi open up again, because I think people are tired of staying in the house in those countries as well. So, but we have to put sort of put across on what is our SOP when it comes to public health, and then it'll be easier to communicate, and we're doing that at the moment.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Doctor, for sharing this. Catherine, let's I mean, for the tour operators and travel agents, audience, who are watching here, what are the collaborative opportunities you have for them?
Yeah, so that's actually been a discussion. So by the way, one of my other survival hacks was stay connected with association bodies and bureaus, because it's all happening there, and I really my hats off to Penang State Government and Penang Global Tourism. That they've been doing an amazing job, and we've been roundtabling with them, and they've really led the way in that. So. Even before this happened, in the very early days, we had the Association of Tourism Attractions had come together with the hoteliers, had come together with MATA, with the Malaysian Chinese tourist travel agents, and we had already started to pull together packages. So we were, the attractions were really committing amazing rates. I mean, rates we'd never really thought of doing before, bundling. Stripping down. Hotels were being pressured to give 2 nights and then 1 night free or free meals. So a lot was being thrown in because we kind of were reading the signs already that this is going to be the long haul, and yeah, we're still talking. So in fact, today we just wrapped up on a meeting with Penang Global Tourism, who are again leading the way in this, and we're going with more bundling. So I think the idea of it's about reaching domestic and then regional and then international. So it's that kind of gradual growing out as markets are beginning to open again. PGT have done a great job in ramping up their social presence on Instagram, sending videos. I think that's been a really key thing for them right now, is about safe destination marketing to show that Penang is green, we're safe, and we're ready. So, and I think we've been really coming together as a community, as an industry, from the hoteliers to associations to agencies, and we're all on the same page. We need to tell people we're safe and we're green. We have our SOPs in place. Today, YB also launched the logo that will create a standard for the SOPs. So all industry players who have this stamp of approval, visitors will recognize it and go, great, so they're safe, they're green, they're complying with the SOPs. And so it just gives that added measure of confidence, because that's what it is now. It's about reestablishing visitor confidence, first with the local, and then gradually it will domino effect onto the wider market. The other campaign that we're also in the midst of creating, Atat, is this idea that Penang people need to rise up as the ambassadors now. We have a population of 1.3 million. You know, if everyone were to reach out to 10 of their people in their network, locally, internationally, it's again that domino effect. And so it's this real kind of rally cry for Penang Lang, for Penang locals to rise up, step up, you know, and support us, support Penang, get business going again. And so Atab will be looking to roll out that campaign very soon as well. It's going to be Instagram driven.
All right, perfect. Yeah, I think it's very important for us to focus on digital, as everyone is focusing on domestic. So digital is the best platform for that. You know, if I talk about pre-COVID scenario, you know, I mean, Langkawi as a destination is being proven to be a success story under doctor's leadership. So, what was LADA's winning strategy that you like to share with the audience? You know, probably, you know, I mean, we need success stories, you know, in the future as well. You know, so probably you have somebody already done that in your previous.
Well, thank you, PC, for your generosity with words, but I don't think I deserve the credit because I'm only in this job for about 13 months now. So it was really my predecessors were very instrumental in laying the foundation for the tourism industry in Langkawi. Of course, from a backwater of only about 8,000 population in 1980s. Sorry, 20,000. Sorry, in 1980s. Now it's 110,000. And we are now the district of Langkawi is the richest district in the entire state of Kedah, out of 12 districts. Yeah. So of course the industry has grown, but the locals as well have got the spillover effect. You know, so when I first came in, the hoteliers were complaining to me that the business has dropped for about 20 to 25%. But as we look at the statistics, apparently there were more of those homestays and Airbnbs coming up. So the cake is pretty much the same size or slightly bigger, but there are more people sharing it, right? So of course the hoteliers were not very happy with that. But,
same in Penang.
Same in Penang, isn't it? It's same everywhere. Disruption, as they call it. I think the most important thing is that we have laid the foundation infrastructure. There's an international airport. There's good road networks in Langkawi, and I think the next step is really to get the different players to come together, and this is the best opportunity to do so. And since I came in last year, we established something called the Assembly of Langkawi Frontliners, and this is where all the industry players sit, and we meet every month. And and we focus on solutions as opposed to moaning and groaning or complaining about issues here. So and this has been very, very, very successful, and we want to sort of upgrade this platform, I think, moving forward, because the government cannot do this alone, and these are the private sector. So really we really have to join force, and the word I think is solidarity. I think we have to be in solidarity with each other moving forward.
Thank you so much, Doctor, for that sharing. There is one, I just want to highlight a user comment here. Eric Sinaya says that share more enhancements of the safeness in a great way that will set minds of possible travelers to choose a destination which is safe and luring. I think this is what exactly we have just spoken about. I think it's very valid, and it's a very important at this point of time. So, Catherine, how about if you talk about your side of the story, like what do you the key factors which proves that the tourism will bounce back, like according to you?
Key
what
factors.
key factors? Yeah.
That tourism will bounce back. It's again, it's stage by stage. So right now you work with what you got. Right now we only got domestic. So you work with that. But it's nothing, it's not a laughable amount. I mean, looking at Penang, again, you've got like 1.3 million people. Not everyone has visited the spice gardens. Not everyone has visited, so again, it's rising. You do with what you've got. You've got your locals and you work with them. And then as the markets increase, you just keep growing and you just keep moving with that. So, there's been a lot of talk around our roundtables. I'm so glad the state have picked up on this, the green bubble, the green zone traveling. That needs to be looked into. And I believe they're going to be running with this idea. So to see how to move and promote travel between green destinations, both domestically, regionally, and then eventually internationally as well. So it's so important that we drive that message home that we're green and safe, and we stay safe. So it's just one thing affects the other. So it's just with this, this is what everyone's looking for. The whole world is looking for assurance that they're going to be okay. And that's what we need to give them, and that's what we need to offer to them, and that's what we need to be showing and driving with visuals and campaigns and all that. It's the new normal.
All right. Thank you, Catherine, for that. Yeah, absolutely right. So we are actually moving towards the end of our session. It's almost an hour now. So let me ask Dr. Hezri on his final thoughts.
I think I've exhausted all the points. I think again, maybe I should reiterate the importance of working together at this very this point of crisis that we are facing now, and at the same time we have to figure out ways to ensure that those who are affected the most would be protected. So even in Langkawi, we are coming up with some strategies, particularly economic projects for those who have lost their income, those who are come from the travel industry who've lost their income. So it's going to be tough, but I think it's not impossible.
Absolutely. I think thank you so much, Doctor, for that very informative sharing. And thank you so much. I know you had a long day today and you took time for us. Really appreciate it. And we'll see you again, probably online or offline, very soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, Catherine, can we have your final thoughts? Yeah.
Well, just stay strong, everyone. We're gonna pull through this. We need to be positive. That there will be an end to this somehow. It may look very different, but there is an end to this, and I just pray that we all recover well, and that this whole reset has shifted and moved things within all of us, and so we come out of it stronger, kinder, and more sustainable in every sense of the word. So just wish you all the best, and thank you so much for tuning in.
Thank you so much, Catherine, for your advices and your thoughts. I think every one of us have definitely been benefited from that. And we'll definitely, I really, really thank you for taking time out to share your thoughts with us. And we'll see you soon, again, pretty soon.
Thank you. Thanks, PC. Bye.
Bye. All right, guys, so you're coming towards the end of the session. So friends, we have an amazing learning session from our guest on the topic. So their views, their knowledge have been extremely helpful to us. I think, we can probably use them to face the future. If you ask me about the growth hacks, I would say first and foremost, it's important to go digital. Bring your business onto the platforms where you can meet customers from around the globe 24/7. And it's also important to get to know your customers, understand your customers' needs, develop products services that meet their requirement. Offer great customer service. These are like, most of you must be knowing all this, and use a lot of social media. Yeah, social media is so powerful. Through social listening, you can actually get to find out what your customers are saying about you and gain insights into their behavior. As I always say, the collaboration is the new competition, and collaborate with the businesses from your industry and create a larger ecosystem where everybody can take benefit from. So never lose faith, and you should keep trying. And I believe today's session was informative to all of you. Upcoming sessions, we will cover more segments of the tourism, like MICE players, convention bureaus, tourism departments, online travel agents, and technology providers, and all. And ladies and gentlemen, if you like what we do, please give us a big thumbs up. Don't forget to like and share this Facebook page, so that you can stay updated with all our daily travel news. And we are just a couple of days away from Hari Raya. I would like to take this opportunity to wish all of you Salamat Hari Raya Idul Fitri and Eid Mubarak. I would like to play a Hari Raya video greetings after this. So looking forward to see you next week. Once again, thank you so much for joining us. Bye. Good night.